You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the February 25th meeting of the Michigan City Waterworks Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
So, yes.
Call this meeting of the Water Board to order. Today is Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. Approval of minutes from the meeting held on February 11th.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 11, 2025.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the minutes from the meeting held February 11th. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Purchase orders.
Before you, there's a list of 10 purchase orders. The first one is to Ferguson. These are for 20-inch repair sleeves to put back on our shelf for $6,407.28. The next item is to McCann. This is excavator rental that will start on April 7th and run for about 4 months for some main projects we've got coming. The first one that's going to start is Franklin Street for the apartment building, and then we've got several more that are going to follow in after that. So, we'll use it through the summer for $24,322. I find that I think this is going to be a good way to do this instead of buying our own. And then, that's going to be in the realm of $200,000 to buy one, and then we're responsible for maintenance. Whereas they're responsible for maintenance. It's their piece of equipment, that sort of thing. So, number 3 is to USA Blue Book transmitters for filter. These are replacement parts for $3,282.50. The next one is to Ferguson. These are hydrant repair kits to put back on the shelf for $2,618.74. Number 5 is to McCann. This was to replace the top rear sliding window on backhoe number 2. It was the day of the Panera Bread main break that we had by Panera Bread. It was so cold. Our operator went to open the window. He grabbed the latches, and as he squeezed down on the latches, the window shattered.
Oh,
So,
my.
So it had to be replaced. So we went ahead and ordered the replacement.
Wow.
So we did a confirming purchase order for this for $2,535.29. Number 6 is to Herc Rentals. This is a dump truck rental. We need to rent this truck for an additional month. The dump truck that we rent, we had a dump truck go down while we were in the middle of all those main breaks, and we got that dump truck back about a week or so ago. We got this truck ready to turn back in, and that dump truck failed again, and so we sent back to the shop. We're not 100% certain the level of issue at this point, so we can't really afford to be down a dump truck for a whole month. So we went ahead and asked him what it would cost to extend it. He said just add this on again. So this is an update to the existing PO then also. Number 7 is to Diamond Speed Products for 14-inch concrete saw blades for cutting pavement for $1,350. Number 8 is to Haas & Associates. This is a hourly coordination services for US 20. This is an increase in existing purchase order for them to do some of the project management activities between where the contract ended and the actual construction work. There's some stuff that I've needed them to take care of for us. So they are doing that, but they needed additional money on the purchase order for that. Number 9 is also to Haas & Associates. This is a separate purchase order, and this is for them to do the the reconciliation of our cost sharing agreement with sanitation department for $6,500. This item, along with several other pieces of the US 20 project, were done, like for example, all the tree clearing was done by sanitation, but we are gonna benefit from it, so we owe them some money for that. But we've covered all of the costs of the wetlands remediation, and a big chunk of that belongs to them. So basically what Haas is doing for us and for sanitation is taking all the costs that should be shared, and we did have an agreement in place. If you guys remember, we did get that agreement put in place. So they're going to go through that and reconcile all that for us, and this expense, whatever they use of this amount, would also be split between the two departments in the end. We're just taking on the purchase order to get it going. And that's for $6,500, and not to exceed. Then the last one is to Midwest Meter. This is meters and transponders for stock for $16,539.48.
All right, any questions with Chris on the purchase orders?
I'll make a motion to accept the list of purchase orders dated 2/25/2025 and the amount of $68,830.29.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second that we accept the list of purchase orders dated February 25th, 2025. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Claims. Anybody have any questions on the claims?
I did want to make a comment to the claims. You'll see on the second page, the transfer from improvement to disbursement fund to cover the ACH payment to the Department of Natural Resources. This was that wetlands mitigation. If you remember, the purchase order that was approved at our last meeting was not to exceed $150,000. The actual amount came in at $104,500. So, hooray.
Hooray.
It was less than what we thought it would be.
What you estimated?
So that's, I just wanted to let you know that occurred, and that's documented here in this list of claims. We got that invoice Thursday, and Janet did the ACH on Friday, so that they got their money as quickly as possible to keep that process moving, because it does take a while for the DNR to do their next piece and get things back to us so that our contractor can start on April 1st.
Okay.
Motion to approve the list of claims dated February 25th, 2025.
I'll second it.
The motion is second that we approve the claims dated February 25th, 2025 as presented. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Financial statements, Chris?
Okay, we'll just run through our January cash flow real quick. Our total receipts for the month were $880,159. We did recover $269.64 in bad debt. Our disbursements were $957,154, not including our monthly transfers. Left us with an ending balance in the operating fund of $126,006. On page 3, our expense line items, our water treatment was a little bit over forecast. We had a bulk phosphate purchase, it was just over $17,000 for that. Our distribution line is over forecast. The bulk of that is the overtime for the month of January that was required for the main break repairs. Also, just to note, there were 3 payrolls this January, where the prior January only had 2. The non-operating income interest line, I just wanted to point out, that was a 22,224. We had 2 CDs that were 6 months, that matured in January, and we got about just over $7,000 in interest on each one of those. Our net loss for the month before depreciation was $144,558. After depreciation, our net loss is $268,558. On page 4, just to mention again on the salary and wage line, it's substantially higher than the prior year, and that's because of the 3 payrolls as well as the overtime. And then our materials and supplies line, that's where the bulk phosphate fell on this page. Everything else is pretty close to forecast. And then on page 6, I just want to remind everybody that our bond payment is due on 3/1. I'll be making that tomorrow for $674,750. If there's any questions, that's all I've got.
Okay, any questions for Chris on the financials?
I make a motion to accept the financial as given to us by Mr. Wolf,
I'll
dated
second,
January 31st, 2025.
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion and a second that we accept the financials as presented dated January 31st, 2025. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, old business.
Under old business, I wanted to bring you up to date. If you remember, we had employed as part of a larger group, Bose Public Affairs, to do some lobbying on our behalf for PFAS liability protections. As you probably have seen on TV, there's starting to be commercials from the same guys that, you know, do the other lawsuits against asbestos and any other variety of toxins that are out there. And all we really wanted to make sure of was that, because fortunately, like I said, here Michigan City does not have an issue. Lake Michigan has extremely, almost non-detectable levels all the time. And what little is in there, our filters already are designed to take out, so we never have any on our finished water. But the whole purpose of it is we wanted to make sure that we weren't facing litigation because of a chemical that's out in the environment that we didn't put out there. And so through some iterations of how things work downstate, they've actually put together a legislation that for water, and I believe it's also for sewer utilities, if we are within compliance of our regulations at the time that something occurs, if the EPA hasn't ordered us to, or hasn't produced a limit, or we're below the limits, we would be indemnified from litigation as long as we're within the limits set forth by the EPA. So that being said, if for example, if in this instance with PFAS, if we had large amounts, if we had that and we did nothing to rectify that situation for our customers, we could be facing liability lawsuits. But because we already have pieces of our treatment process in place that remove what little is out in Lake Michigan, we're okay. But this was a bigger picture issue for us in the future, because as time goes on, the testing procedures will change, and they'll be able to read this chemical at smaller and smaller amounts. And so what is where we're at today, where it's non-detectable, it could be in the future at much lower rates on the raw water that's coming out of the lake. Our finished water, and like I said, our filters are already designed. That we used them for other things initially for taste and odor control, but they also work that's one of the best ways to filter out these chemicals. So I just want to give you guys an update that the money we spent to do that has been successful in getting, it's gone through the first half, I believe, and in the second half of the legislature session, they'll bring it up. I'm not sure if it got through the House or if it got through the Senate and the state. So that'll go through the other side after the break.
Any other old business?
That's it this time.
Anything from the state on the rest area?
We don't have anything worked out yet.
How about the 400 North? Anything from over there?
400 North.
The extension of the water lines to those office buildings, medical?
Oh, the medical facilities, nothing came of that. The information that was provided, I never heard back that the county wanted to do anything with that. So.
All right, new business?
Under new business in your pack, there is a bill stuff request for trash updates from the city. And they just want to put this in basically starting as soon as we finish with the last bill stuff. So, which actually should be ending this week. So theoretically, this should start next week. This is going just to city residents. They will be printing them. We don't do printing. They just provide them to us and we add them to our bill. I would just need approval for that.
Anybody like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we send this flyer with our bills. That's how it's gonna go out, right?
Yeah.
Second.
Motion second that we approve the flyer going out in our next water bill. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other new business?
Well, we did talk a little bit about it before the meeting, but just to reiterate, on the 4th of March, the mayor will be hosting her State of the City address at the Holdcraft Performing Arts Center. The doors open at 8:30. Well, that was it.
All right. Public comment.
Hello, board, Scott Melland, MEL-AND, 200 Kenwood Place. I know this is public comment and I really can't ask questions, but I do have two simple questions. I hope I wouldn't have to file a Freedom of Information Act for. So first, I want to thank you for adding the refuse flyer into the water bill. Thank you for doing that for the city. I'm wondering if for those of us who get the electronic bills, we don't receive the paper bills, but you have our emails on file. I wonder if those could be sent to us, to the people who get e-bills on file, if they could get an electronic copy of those flyers.
When the e-bill comes out, there'll be a link in that. When you open that up, it draws attention. There's a link to open up, and that shows the attachment.
That's great, I guess I should have looked at my bill. So, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I had a question about fluoride. I'm assuming we add fluoride to our water, and I probably can, the answer's probably on that water quality flyer up front. But if it's not, I would ask if we add fluoride, and to what level are we using? That's one question.
We do add fluoride to the water. We bring the total of parts per million to 0.7, which is the recommended level by the Indiana State Department of Health, who oversees the fluoride program for the state.
It's right in the middle of recommendations, generally speaking. But yeah, that's great, thank you very much. And one last question about that $674,000 bond payment. If we only have $126K in the operating budget, I assume we have another budget line that has money for the bond payment. How well covered is that bond payment? If we're gonna pay it tomorrow, I'm assuming we have the money for it.
Oh, yeah, we have we obligate finances to cover those bond payments. There are transfers made on a regular basis into that bond fund to pay those bonds when they're due. So that's all part of the process of what gets approved by the board.
Like a sinking fund.
What's that?
To the sinking fund.
Sinking fund?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much. That was all.
All right, any other public comments? Comments from the directors? Would like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn, all those in favor?
Aye.